This video is for educational purposes only. Hello, my name is Daniel. Thank you for watching today. I appreciate you. In today's video, I want to talk about improper tattoo application, and I want to show you what that looks like. Should you have any questions at any point throughout this video, I encourage you to drop a comment below. I'll do my best to assist in the best possible direction. Improper tattoo application can be hard to spot on multiple fronts. What that means to me is if we are, let's say, for example, a tattoo collector, someone who gets the tattoos, it could be pretty tough to figure out if the artist is approaching the tattoo application correctly or not. Let's say if we are getting into tattooing and we are a beginner, it could be pretty tough to figure out if our technique is improper, especially in the beginning phases of our tattooing careers. I feel like improper tattoo application is 110% avoidable by knowing some basics and some fundamentals before we get into whatever it is that we are tattooing. I would consider this first example to be improper application, and for multiple reasons. First and foremost, the hand speed to voltage ratio is definitely off. This artist is moving way too fast. So this is what it looks like when an artist is working fast. Some artists can do this and get away with it, but if we take a look at the results here, I don't see any sort of consistency. I don't see solid, saturated, clean lines. I do see the artist having to double up and even triple up in some areas, which could cause more pain and trauma to the client, trauma to the skin. So moving way too fast, the artist isn't giving the needle enough time to deposit the ink in a clean, solid, or consistent manner. I would say that this artist should probably focus more on their hand speed to voltage. Not only that, I'm also noticing that there is no real clear plan of approach. I don't think the artist identifies any sort of point A to B, because they're kind of all over the place right here. These sort of actions that he's making right now kind of justify that. I feel like he's kind of scavenging and figuring out where the next line is, what he wants to do next, as opposed to having some sort of solid formulated plan. Having a plan can contribute to us having more confidence. Having more confidence can also contribute to us providing better quality work. I would also say that this is improper application because I don't see the artist getting any sort of solid stretching on the skin. Like right now, he was creating a line outside of the stretch, which doesn't really make sense to me. So I also see that this is improper application because the artist can't get a good stretch. Without that good stretch, we're not going to accomplish clean, solid, saturated results. Some of these areas really need to be stretched out more than what the artist is stretching. So these are some clear indications of improper application. Wrong hand speed to voltage, improper stretching. I mean, the needle angle, I'm not really against. The needle angle seems pretty decent, something that I would use as well. But the stretching is something that I would focus on more. Also, the plan of approach, posture, positioning is also very important. So all of those little things add up, and this is what it kind of looks like when we are creating a tattoo with a sort of improper approach. And improper may be subjective to some. However, the way that I look at it is this way. If there is a better way to approach tattooing, then there is a better way to approach tattooing. Consider this to be proper application. The artist is stretching the skin, taking the time to get comfortable with their posture and position, identify point A while they cleanly make their way to their point B while tapering in and out, as you can see right here. They wiped away and we have a clean, solid, consistent, saturated line that is reflecting the needle integrity. So we always want to reflect the needle line weight that we pick, meaning if we pick a 14 round shader, the lines that we apply should look like a 14 round shader. I would consider this right here to also be proper application. You can see this is from a different angle. Now it's going to be a little bit difficult to see in some areas here, but you can see that the artist is getting clean, solid, saturated, consistent lines, especially in comparison to the stencil. So the line weight integrity that this artist chose for this specific needle size matches up to the stencil line weight integrity, which is also a clear sign that an artist knows what they're doing. You can see that these artists are making clean, solid, consistent, saturated lines in one pass motions. They're getting clean stretches on the skin while matching their hand speed to their voltage and keeping a good needle depth and a good needle angle. So all of their fundamentals are aligning to produce and yield really good quality, saturated, consistent, solid results. Allow me to give you a side-by-side comparison so that way we can kind of see improper versus proper application together. So on the left we have proper application, on the right we have improper application, and you can see that there is a tremendous difference. These are both real time. Whether or not these artists are using a higher or lower voltage is really beyond the point. You can see though, in terms of how these lines are being applied, is fluctuating tremendously from proper to improper. proper. Another example of improper application would be this. So this artist is moving way too fast. The hand speed to voltage is not aligned. There appears to not be a good solid stretch on the skin. That can cause issues with like snagging on the skin and needle depth inconsistencies. So this doesn't appear to be a proper application. I don't see this sort of approach yielding any sort of clean, solid, consistent, saturated results. Along with not aligning the hand speed to the voltage and an inconsistent stretch, there appears to be a lot of pulling under the skin as well as wrong needle angle. It does look as though there's some snagging potentially going on just because there's no good stretch on the skin. So for many reasons, I would consider this to be improper application, and that's exactly what it looks like. This is a similar application, but a proper way to apply it. And for multiple reasons, this is proper application. The first things that I notice is that the artist has a good stretch on the skin. They're also aligning their hand speed to voltage. They're giving their needle enough time to work to accomplish the texture that they are trying to accomplish. The artist is also using a sort of pendulum motion to create these sort of textures. So everything about this looks to be proper to me. It also appears to be on a tighter part of the skin, which the artist is kind of mildly compensating for what stretch is needed to apply the textures they are trying to get. So it definitely looks as though this artist is definitely accomplishing what they are setting out to do. This is going to be a side-by-side comparison between proper application and improper application when it comes to trying to create textures. On the left, it just doesn't look right, where we have on the right. Tattooing should be a nice, fluid, solid, consistent motion. If we want any sort of consistency, if we want any sort of saturation, if we are wanting to produce quality work that stands the test of time, then we are definitely going to need to have a clean, stable, solid, consistent approach when it comes to applying our tattoos. We have to always remember as a tattoo collector or a tattoo artist that applying tattoos takes time. Here's another example of what I would consider improper application. I would say this is improper because the artist is trying to apply fine details. There's a lot of ink pulling going on. We need to be able to see our needle tip to see exactly what we are doing. On top of that, there appears to be no good stretch on the skin, and we can kind of see the needle snagging in the skin, which is something that we always want to stay away from. There should be a solid stretch on the skin, and if we can prevent ink pulling, then we may want to always try to prevent ink pulling under our needle just to give us optimal vision on our needle tip so we can see exactly what we are doing. Here's another example of the same application but applied technically correct. So you can see we have a very clear side of our needle tip. You can see this artist is matching their hand speed to their voltage, and they also have a stable stretch on the skin, stable enough to apply the line weight true to the needle size. So this right here would be a very similar technique, if not the same, but just applied in a proper manner. I really feel that there's a visual difference that we can see between proper and improper application. You can see on the left we have proper, where on the right we have improper. And I don't know, there's just a tremendous difference in terms of what it looks like when ink is being applied correctly versus when it's not. The left has the hand speed aligned to the voltage, the right doesn't. The left has a good stretch on the skin where the right doesn't. The left does not have any ink pulling where the right does. So there is a lot of differences going on here between proper and improper. Allow me to show you another example of improper application, and for many reasons I feel like this is improper application. So first and foremost, one thing that stands out is the needle angle. The needle angle doesn't appear to be correct to capture that needle line weight that was selected. Another thing is the artist appears to be moving a little bit too fast. The needle doesn't appear to be making enough rounds per minute to deposit the ink in any sort of clean, solid, consistent, saturated manner. The hand speed to voltage appears to be a little too fast. Right here, these whip motions that are being created, there's no consistency, meaning each dot that's being placed in there is inconsistent, and this is how we get blotchy results. There also appears to be snagging going on as well if we take a close look at that. Now on the left we have proper whip shading, on the right we have improper. On the right you can see it's kind of snagging as well. On the left there's just clean, consistent, smooth motions being made all the way across, and each line is neighboring one another well, meaning they look the same, where on the right there's no sort of consistency. It's kind of like a sort of scratchy look to it. If we take an even closer look at the improper application on the right, there appears to be inadequate ink flow, so there's not enough ink to go around as well. I feel like this is another great example of improper application. One thing that stands out off the top is the needle angle. That doesn't appear to be correct at all in any way, shape, or form. The needle tip has to hit together in order to capture the line weight integrity of that needle. Not only that, there's a lot of pulling going on. It appears that this artist is moving way too fast for the ink to do its job as well. This right here is what a similar technique would look like, but when it's properly applied. For multiple reasons, I would consider this to be a proper application. The artist is aligning their hand speed to their voltage. Although it is getting messy, you can see the artist is familiar with their hand speed to voltage as well as needle depth. They're also ensuring their comfortability and posture before they commit to the line. You can see on the left we have proper application, where on the right we have improper. These are pretty similar approaches, pretty similar techniques. However, one is right and one is wrong. This last example really speaks to me because a lot of artists would interpret this as improper application just based on the way that it looks. If we take a close look though, the artist has good posture and positioning. They are able to apply the line in one pass motion. Their angle is right. They have adequate ink flow, and it seems as though they have their hand speed to voltage aligned as well as a good stretch on the skin. All of that matters and plays a role in determining if this is proper or improper. We have to also keep in mind that we are seeing this tattoo in the process. We aren't seeing the final results. Typically, the client alone or the artist, maybe a few other onlookers that are in the shop, would see this part of the tattooing process. However, in terms of technical application, this is still, I feel, correct, and this is what proper application looks like. We just have to keep that in mind, that we are seeing the process of a tattoo being applied. So we are seeing it in its early stages. Much like the first example, this second one I would consider proper, but it's a bit deceptive. Some may even deem it to be improper. If we pay attention though, the artist is using clean, consistent motions, and they are getting clean, smooth results. Now, I'm not sure if this artist is new to the practice or they are kind of learning as they go. However, they are definitely on the right track. The shadings that they are getting is smooth and it's clean. It doesn't look as though the skin's overworked either. So at a glance, this could be deemed as improper. However, I would deem this as proper just because the results are coming out nice and clean. It doesn't appear to be any overworking or trauma to the skin. There appears to be good ink flow, and each stroke the artist is making is neighboring one another well, providing them with clean, solid, consistent results. That'll be it for this one. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts and opinions on improper and proper application. I do hope that I provided you with useful information that you can arm yourself with, whether you're looking to get tattoos or do tattoos. Hopefully you have some sort of an idea as to what proper and improper technical application looks like. However, if you have any questions at all, I encourage you to please drop a comment down below. I'll do my best to assist in the best possible direction. Before you go, please don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell for me, as I will be bringing more videos like this for you. I appreciate you, your time, and your support. Thank you very much. You have a great day.